that completely flopped, being investigated by federal authorities for misleading children, and Ryan himself.
Please tell me why in the freak is Ryan World still making videos?
Just retire Uggs. Ryan's World's parents finally got what they deserved.
Ryan's World made his parents over $34 million at just 4 years old. But now,
yeah, yo, maybe we gotta pop out babies. I'm praying you get your girlfriend, your wife, or somebody pregnant because you need $30 million.
now 10 years later, their entire empire is crumbling. A multi-million-dollar movie that completely flopped, being investigated by federal authorities for misleading children, and Ryan himself, now 13 years old, making it very clear he does not want to be doing this anymore.
Bro, imagine being 4 years old and you make enough bread to retire your kids. At 4 years old, you don't even know what the process of making a kid is. I hope you don't, at least. That would be really, really weird, in my opinion. But his parents pissed away his entire income? How?
So when you look at everything his parents have done, this downfall, yeah, it feels very deserved. So let's break down how Shion and Loan Kaji built a billion-dollar YouTube empire off their
Dreading spring allergies? The specialists at ENT and Allergy Associates of Pennsylvania offer advanced treatments to help you get control of your allergies for good.
own son, and how their own greed slowly destroyed it. So
how do you guys feel about child YouTubers, by the way? Do you guys feel like it's unethical because you're kind of forcing your kid into like some type of child labor thing? Would you guys do this? Would you guys not do it? Let me know.
Understand how bad things got, you have to understand how it all began, because it didn't start with greed, at least it didn't look like it. In 2015, Ryan is 3 years old and absolutely obsessed with YouTube.
Okay.
He's been watching channels like EvanTube HD, another channel run by a kid who unboxes toys and plays games.
That's crazy, bro. I remember these channels.
And he tells his mother he wants to do the same thing. His parents thought, why not? So his mother takes him to a toy store, he picks out a Lego train set, they film the whole thing, and for a while, the channel grows slowly, nothing crazy, just a family having fun. And then came the video that changed everything. A giant Lightning McQueen surprise
Does that say 1.2 billion views?
egg, packed with over 100 Disney card toys. Ryan's reaction is pure unfiltered excitement. The kind of joy that you genuinely cannot fake at 3 years old.
Bro, I'll fake that. I don't give a damn. Yo, get me a freaking Lightning McQueen egg right now. 1.2 billion views. Do you know how much money you make off that, bro? He genuinely probably made millions of dollars off that one video alone.
Video goes on to accumulate over 1.2 billion views. Yes, I said that, billion.
Wow.
This genuinely transformed the Kaji's family lives overnight.
Bro, you guys have to understand, like, bro, a billion views, that's like the type of views you get on a song that's insane, like Despacito or something. That's not normal for a YouTube video that's like 10 minutes long. I know he was eating good for years.
They went from a regular household in Texas into one of the biggest kid YouTube channels. And this was a very important moment right here, because at this point, Shion and Loan face a choice that every parent in their position has to face.
Which is?
Do you treat this as a wonderful, lucky moment that your child gets to enjoy, or do you look at these numbers, do the maths, see the potential, and start thinking about what comes next? And
I ain't gonna lie, bro, as greedy as it might sound, I'm putting my kid in a sweatshop, bro. Well, not like literally, but yo, you're getting to work, bro. You make that much money off one vid, you gonna review every toy in the existence of the world that ever existed. Screw the ethics.
Kajis made their choice pretty quickly and took things very seriously. Within months of that video blowing up, the channel's growth became exponential. Brand deals came in, sponsorship offers, merchandise proposals, and Shion and Loan, a structural engineer and a high school chemistry teacher, made the decision to quit their jobs entirely and go all in on Ryan.
Okay, whoa, hold on. This is Ryan's toy reviews, okay? Not Ryan's parents' reviews. Keep working them jobs, all right? This ain't your money. This is your kid's money.
On the surface, this may sound like supportive parenting, backing your kid, believing in them, but look at what they actually built, and this kind of framing falls apart very fast. They formed Sunlight Entertainment, a full production company. At its peak, the operation employed over 30 people. If you think about it, it's very crazy. 30 people on full salaries, benefits, production costs, and equipment, a massive financial machine that needed constantly feeding.
Bro, and this is all because of a kid, a baby reviewing a toy, bro. Also, what do you possibly need 30 employees for to review toys? At this point, they're not doing toy reviews probably. They're probably doing other types of videos that need some crazy production. All you need is an editor, that's it.
And there was only one person whose name was above the door, Ryan Kaji. a literal child. At their peak, the Kardis were running more than 10 channels simultaneously, and across those channels they were producing up to 25 videos every single week, which if you really think about it, is kind of sad. Ryan went from being another ordinary child to a superstar. His whole house and all the rooms were gutted and converted into professional filming sets. Lighting rigs, camera equipment, props everywhere.
He obviously wasn't a normal kid at this point. 25 videos a week is crazy, bro. Almost 4 videos every single day. When does this man have time to watch Bluey and sit down and eat his SpaghettiOs like a normal child, bro? When does he have time for school even?
Home stopped being a home and became a workplace, and his entire life became work. Ryan's daily life, breakfast, playtime, trips to the stores, became content.
Oh my god, that's actually so sad now that I think about it. Imagine you're a kid, you're trying to watch your TV shows, I don't know, just chill. You're trying to have friends, you can't even have those. Friends are gonna think, oh, this is Ryan's toy reviews, you know, they're trying to be cool with you for the money. Then when you're eating your food, it's like, oh, Ryan, how's that food? How does it taste good? Does it taste good? With a freaking flash in your face like, damn, mom. I can't even try these goldfish and give like my own authentic reaction without the camera.
He did was filmed and monetized. And at this point, it started to look like Ryan wasn't enjoying the life of a child. His parents were using him as a cash cow. So by 2018, Ryan Kargi was the highest paid creator on YouTube. Not the highest paid child creator, literally the most earned on the entire platform.
Crazy.
$26 million in a single year. And he was just 7 years old. But with all these numbers about how much money they were making started coming out, things started to become very weird. Because when you think about it, a $1 billion brand built on a child's face and a child's labor, well, there's no guarantee that this money will ever become his.
Right.
Unlike child actors in Hollywood who have had earning protections in place since California passed the coup.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. Okay, this is interesting information.
Child influencers had virtually no legal protection at all. Every single dollar Ryan generated legally belonged to his parents. All of it. Ryan had no trust fund being set aside and no legal guardian protecting his finances.
That's gotta be illegal, right? Because, I mean, they're making the money in his name, in his likeness. He has to have some type of, like, guaranteed income.
Interest. Literally nothing. He was the golden goose and the cage had no laws around it. And things only continued to get worse. As the channel grew and the business scaled up, the content changed. Because what started as a kid genuinely playing with toys he loved, slowly, quietly shifted into something else entirely.
Facts, because as a kid, you're gonna like certain toys, and then you get older and you're not gonna like them toys. Like me, I grew out of my Barbie phase real fast. I'm kidding, okay? I was not liking Barbies. I did like Barney the dinosaur a lot, though.
Today, I'm interviewing John Cena, the new face of Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Sunscreen.
Let's do this.
But as you can see, he flaked.
I'm right here.
Ultra Sheer gives you high SPF protection, and it has an invisible.
Very unrelated, but brief for the mission. If you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure you go and smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 200,000 subscribers. Thank you very much.
His videos had sponsored segments, brand deals were sneakily added into videos, and products were placed into Ryan's hands. Toys, food items, toothpaste, games, and Ryan
And then he has to do them sponsored segments where it's like, oh, I love this toy. He does not like this damn toy.
with them, react to them, endorse them. And his audience, which is of course mostly toddlers and preschoolers between the ages of 2 and 6, had absolutely no idea to understand what was happening. Think about the audience for a second. These are children who still believe in the Tooth Fairy, Santa, and so on. Children who cannot read. Children who literally look at Ryan as a kid just like them.
Wait, I always wonder, like, what's the point of a sponsor, like, advertising a certain product towards 2 to 8-year-olds, though? It's not like the kid's about to get mommy's credit card and buy the toothpaste. I guess the best bet is, like, having kids tell their parents to buy this for them.
Excited and happy and relatable, trusting him completely. When Ryan picks up a toy and says he loves it, those kids believe him. Then they go to their parents and ask for that exact toy.
Okay, yeah, I'm just an idiot. Well, actually, I'm not an idiot because I kind of figured that out.
But the massive problem here was, these ads weren't disclosed. They were built into the play. There was no clear label, no separation between what videos were Ryan actually enjoying something and just an advertisement. And it wasn't long before critics, parents, consumer advocates, child psychologists started raising the alarm.
Child psychologist? Okay, we don't need all that to understand that this is kind of weird. Definitely kind of predatory behavior of your audience to recommend them stuff that you don't really like, for real. I'm assuming every single video on Ryan's toy reviews, where most of the videos were pretty positive, right? So was he ever making videos where he was just straight up bashing him? Imagine he's like, yo, he's like some kid who's like 5 years old. He's like, yo, don't buy this goddamn fucking toy. Yo, bro, I think he would lose so many subscribers over a single cuss word alone.
This was not ethically right. And it was
Why have I never
potentially
heard of
legal.
this app
So in
before? This is
2019,
called
the Federal Trade
ColorPop.
Commission
One day
and
I
the
was
New
like, why is my kid so quiet?
York Attorney General launched one of the largest digital enforcement actions in American history. The target is Google and YouTube. The charge is violating COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, by collecting personal data from children without parental
pores, but these Medicube Zero
consent and using that data to serve targeted advertisements. The fine was $170 million, $136 million to the FTC and $34 million to the New York Attorney General, the largest COPPA settlement ever recorded. And it was so big because YouTube knew what they were doing. Everyone knows that these children's channels are watched primarily by young children, but rather than treating those viewers as a protected class they legally were, YouTube served them targeted ads based on behavioral tracking data.
Well, again, this is more of an issue with YouTube itself, the platform, and Google. Hey, don't sue me now. I'm on YouTube. Than actual Ryan's horror abuse himself, or even the parents, right?
For the Kajis, the impact was catastrophic. Loan confirmed it herself in an interview. They lost 70% of their revenue practically overnight.
Damn, 70%? Okay, now go ahead and fire every single one of them damn people on the staff. All 29. The only person you need is an editor, I'm telling you.
So after the target ad was removed, our revenue went down by 70%. After just that day.
Yo, where are these people from? Is this guy Japanese? Why does he low-key sound Japanese to me, bro?
So what was this date for people that we don't have context?
Okay, so the FTC, I guess, prohibited the target ads for the made for kids content from YouTube.
He is definitely Japanese, bro.
YouTube after a certain point, and that the target ad it takes the big role on the YouTube, and after that point, that's the majority of the revenue, the ad revenue. So after that was taken out from the kids content, we lost revenue of 70%.
And when you think about it, this destroyed the operation of Sunlight Entertainment. They had 30 employees, multiple channels, and so many production costs. And now overnight, 2/3 of its previous income completely disappears.
Okay, so what are they gonna do? Are they gonna be cool with that, or are they gonna decide to slave Ryan even more to make more money?
And this had an effect on Ryan, because this meant the financial pressure went up, which meant they had to pump out
the financial pressure on a freaking toddler, bro. That's crazy.
More content, take more brand deals, and do literally everything for an extra penny. And around the same time, the Kajis rebranded Ryan Toys Review to Ryan's World.
So the bad news is there will be no more Ryan's Toys Review. But the good news is that we're still gonna make videos. Yay!
Yo, they probably have a nice teleprompter right behind him with the script to say this, bro. You know damn well you ain't saying this off the dome, Ryan.
We're just gonna change the channel name, and now it's gonna be called Ryan's World.
Okay, smart.
We're changing the channel name because we don't just do toy videos. We do science experiments, and we do challenges like the floor is lava.
It was framed as the channel growing and evolving, but behind the scenes it was more damage control, an attempt to distance the brand from controversy and make it look less
That's smart though, because you're making that change without really tying it to the drama.
Commercial. But then came issues that no rebrand or money could fix, because Ryan, he was growing up. The kids who had discovered him at
Yeah, give that man the secret serum that the billionaires like, that keeps people young. I heard somebody say that they eat babies that keeps them young or something like that. It's probably a conspiracy, but hey, Ryan probably can afford it. He has enough money if it does exist.
4 and 5 years old were now preteens. They'd moved on to gaming channels, to social media, and to other content that actually reflected their age. They weren't watching toy unboxings anymore, and Ryan's peers, other kids his age, weren't interested in watching a 12-year-old pretend to be excited about toys designed for 5-year-olds.
One of y'all please tell me why in the freak is Ryan World still making video? If y'all don't
Hellerix Adventure Farm is now open on weekends. There's Barnyard Mini Golf, the Silo Climbing Wall, and the Aerial Adventure.
Just retire Unk. Yo, this actually is Unk status though, because he's been doing this since he was a kid. He's been working for like over 10, 13 years.
Nice who this dude is right here. And yes, I'm saying dude, he's a grown man. I'm gonna show you something real quick. This is him back in 2018. I remember as a kid, I used to see his videos all over the place.
Damn, bro, 2018? That was really almost 10 years ago, bro. Time is flying by. And then this man said he was watching him as a kid. If this man is saying he was watching him as a kid, that's crazy, because this man looks like he's about 28 years old at minimum.
I'm like, yo, this little kid's making a lot of money. Bro, he has 39 million subs. And back in the day, he was pulling 2 billion, 1.2 billion, 400 million, 461 million. He was...
Bro, these like 2 videos alone, 3 videos, are enough for the average person to retire. Deadass.
Mr. Beast before Mr. Beast. I recently saw this video on my timeline, and in 2025, he is still making videos. So I went on a search to figure out why. He does not want to make videos, at least from what I've heard. Apparently, bro, his parents is forcing him to make videos, and you're asking why? I'm gonna show you. Lil bro has an estimated net worth of $100 million, and this is probably not even all his money.
Okay, if that's the case, why not just retire then? I don't get it. He already has 100 M's.
You know, the net worth doesn't get all your money.
Comments started appearing under his videos. His voice is deeper than mine now. How is he still doing this? Former fans saying they used to be jealous of his life, and now they were grateful to be
At some point, it just becomes kind of weird. It's like Blippi, bro. Like one of them old ass YouTubers who just like makes kids content. Like, bro, unless you're gonna become Mrs. Rachel and make like teaching videos for the new generation, acting like you're a kid, it's gonna start looking weird. Like some people are gonna start creating those like predator allegation conspiracies, bro. You just don't want to be doing this, bro. Start making like cartoon reviews or something. Start reviewing anime or manga. That's tough.
for kids. And this continued to platforms like TikTok, where people made memes about him, which got millions of views. And here's the massive issue that Ryan's parents had created. Their entire brand, the merchandise, the partnerships, pretty much the whole channel identity.
You know what? Screw it. If these parents are really about their money, have another kid. Another kid, you know, and just Ryan's toy reviews. Instead, make it, if it's a girl, Rihanna's toy reviews. Brian's toy reviews. There we go. And then you keep the unlimited money glitch, bro.
Was built on a specific image, a cheerful, excitable young Ryan. But now that he's grown up, they won't let him change his content or step back and explore his own interests. No, that's too big of a financial risk. They're still gonna make him unbox toys at 13 years old, even though his audience doesn't want to see that anymore and Ryan doesn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, bro, like 13 years old, hang it up. Really, by the time I was like 8 years old, I didn't even play with toys anymore. You're gonna have to start reviewing games, comics, stuff like that for more, a little bit older audience.
So what did they do? Well, they pushed harder. More uploads, more recycled content. They began just reposting old videos, running live streams on repeat, and chasing whatever ad revenue was.
Gang, if you're gonna do this, you might as well just like create some type of TV channel on actual TV for kids to watch. Why not just make him just do other content, bro? Like Fortnite gameplay. There's stuff that are made for preteens, especially like nowadays, bro. Gaming is huge, streaming is huge. Make this man a Twitch streamer and play video games.
Still tuning in. They even tried new stuff such as gaming content and educational challenges to chase Ryan's older audience, but they were all flopping, pulling a fraction of the views the old content used to generate.
Was that an IRL Ryan's World stream, bro?
Commenters even pointing it out and calling it very forced and cringe. By 2023, Ryan had fallen from 1st to 17th on YouTube's highest earning list, the same list he topped for 3 years running. And everyone could see it. Ryan's world was slowly falling apart. And his parents, rather than acknowledging that, they just kept pumping out the videos. And if there's one moment that crystallizes exactly what Ryan's life looks like behind the brand, it's his podcast appearance. Ryan is the guest. He's been brought on to talk about his life,
and guess what? His parents are there with him, bro.
his channel, his experiences, but watch the dynamic and it becomes deeply uncomfortable very quickly.
Like, Ryan, are you going to keep making YouTube videos, given your interest to be an animator and maybe go behind the camera, like as you get older?
I think I will keep going for a while, yeah.
His parents,
oh damn, okay, I saw it. He kind of like look at his dad for approval-ish.
And they do the vast majority of the talking. And when Ryan does speak, which was very rare, he looks at them first in a way that looks like he's asking, is this okay? Am I saying the right thing? And when he's asked whether he enjoys making content, his answer is very careful. Of course, looking at his parents, and not long until his parents interrupt him.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. If I'm Ryan's World, bro, just screw it. Just say you don't, bro. Like, I don't expect him to. Honestly, in all my honest opinion, if you do anything for 10, 15 years and it's a job, at that point, you're gonna lose love for it at some point, bro. Every single content creator at some point, they're gonna get burnt out. They're gonna feel that like tiredness. Bro, he's been making 4 videos a day for years. He doesn't even have much of the creative direction. It's more like his parents are just setting everything up for him and making him read scripts. Is he supposed to enjoy it? What do you expect? Honestly, this is not supposed to be an enjoyable form of content, in my opinion. I'm more shocked hearing him say I do enjoy it than I hear him say I don't enjoy it.
As you can probably tell by the clip I just played you, what Ryan said in that interview was that the version of his life that he enjoyed is over. He doesn't enjoy playing with toys or unboxing them anymore, and he wants to do something that normal teenagers do.
Bro, that's so normal, bro. Think of every hobby you've ever started. Bro, do you still do every single one of them to this day? Obviously not. A normal human experience is to grow out of things, especially when you're a kid.
Play sports, play video games, hang out with his friends, go to the movies, whatever. But publicly, he's not allowed to say that or do that. But guess what? His parents heard all of that, and what was their response? Well, they decided to make a movie. So let's go over the Ryan's World movie disaster, the Titan Universe Adventure. A $10 million budget, major promotional push, with it being positioned as the brand.
You would think that this family is going broke by the way that this YouTuber is talking about them, because he's like, oh, they're having these tragic whatevers, this thing flopped, and then you have $10 million.
Wawa has tacos now?
Ooh, tacos! It smells so good.
Fabulous.
That's like a legit taco.
Yeah, I'm gonna be coming back for these.
This is perfect. So flavorful.
It's seasoned very well.
Let's just go boom on a movie. But if you just have $10 million to go ahead and put it in a movie, let this man Ryan retire. He does not need to work another day in his life, nor do you guys either, or his own sisters, bro. They're all good.
Revolution beyond YouTube. Proof that Ryan's World could compete in mainstream entertainment. Well, long story short, it made $600,000 at the box office, losing $9.4 million.
And again, who are you expecting to pull up to that? Kids? Like young kids? You should have made this when he was in his prime.
You need us. She has a point. How's this for a point? I'm the big brother. I know best, and I'm in charge.
Theatre staff across multiple countries reported screenings with 0 attendees, not low, literally 0. And by the third weekend, films with essentially no marketing budget were outperforming it. The IMDb score settled at 1.8 out of 10, one of the lowest ratings of the entire year across any film in any genre, and audiences described it as a cash grab that failed to even succeed as a cash grab.
Okay.
It was a YouTube quality production that had no business being projected onto cinema screens. And if you really think about it, it makes no sense. Ryan's World is older, yet they want to make a movie about him opening toys or whatever. And then when you even take a look at the channel analytics, his views have dropped. So
bro, I really think that Ryan would benefit a lot from just saying screw it to the whole like young kid persona. Kids watch that like bubbly, lovable, happy personality, but as you age a bit, people start to value more of like an authentic approach to things. He should be like, yo, this toy is ass, bro, and just throw it or something. I don't know, like that rebel teen phase or whatever, or just more like a raw, honest opinion on things. Screw the toy review, start doing food reviews or something, start playing sports or something, start like throwing a couple like cuss words in your videos or something, man. Like start showing like everybody else that you're also just like them. Like you're not some like crazy like dystopian utopian project that was implemented on this world to be a cash cow.
To make a movie with a massive budget, of course it's not going to make money if your YouTube videos aren't making money. And this movie was more than just money burnt. It removed any remaining doubt about where the brand stood. This was a public, documented...
Bro, screw the brand for a second. Let's talk about him as a human. As a person, you're supposed to age, you're supposed to grow out of that whole like, oh, this is a lovely toy, guys. If you're 15, 18, 30 doing that, bro, people are not gonna buy it.
Irrefutable confirmation that Ryan's World had lost its audience completely, and that his parents were still spending money they no longer had trying to.
Like, if you want to keep this man as like a child persona, put this man on like Disney shows, some new Cartoon Network series or something. But if you actually want him to like be marketable towards his age group, you gotta switch it up, bro. Do something more catered towards teenagers and actually keep at it. Don't just go back to like toy reviews, because that just shows that all of it's a cash grab. The way you make money nowadays, it's not forced. It's more of like an authentic approach. And when people feel like you're forcing a persona, they're not gonna want to buy what you're putting out.
And otherwise. But the next move, it was even sadder and pretty much disgusting. As Ryan began appearing less in content, probably because he was very tired, flat, and going through those normal teenage emotions we all went through, the camera shifted onto his sisters, Emma and Kate. They are 7 years old, and they became the stars of the show.
Yo, bro, they should have had this idea earlier, bro. They should have like propped up the sisters while Ryan was in his prime.
First alongside Ryan, and then slowly over time without him. They now have their own animation series, their own dedicated content, and their own merchandise and toys. As you can imagine, the internet's reaction was furious because everyone recognized exactly what they were watching. Ryan had made his parents millions of dollars, and the moment he started showing signs of not being interested anymore, his parents decided to keep the machine going and started using his sisters instead.
I mean, like, why would the internet be furious at this, bro? You can only laugh and be like, bro, I get it. Bro, Ryan is officially washed, so, you know, substitute them out for some younger... Okay, this is gonna sound... That's crazy. You get what I'm saying, though? Younger people, so they can review toys to young kids again.
Same playbook, same house, but just different kids. Comments flooded in saying, Ryan made you money, and they're already moving on to the next siblings. It's sad, as it seems like this...
I mean, Ryan still has his money. I don't get why they're mad.
...cycle of the Kaji parents using their children will never end.
Okay.
But there was some light at the end of the tunnel, because slowly legislators started acting. Illinois passed a kid influencer protection law in 2023, one of the first of its kind, requiring parents who profit from their children's online content to set aside a percentage of those earnings into a protected trust that the child can access when they turn 18.
This is an amazing law right here.
Protected trust that the child can access when they turn 18. California followed with its own version of the legislation shortly. Washington State introduced similar protections after. And it's good that these laws were added because it's the exact gap the Kajis exploited, and Ryan Kaji is the reason these laws now exist. His name will never appear in them, but the gap they were designed to close has his story.
My question is though, are people just speculating that his parents were taking advantage of the situations? Are we assuming that Ryan just has no money and his parents have everything? I feel like if that was the case, he would have low-key exposed them by now.
All over it. And the thing is, Ryan's story isn't new. It's just new in the social media world. But previously, the pattern has always stayed the same. Macaulay Culkin made his parents millions from home over their own career. Make money. So now you guys might be wondering, where is Ryan now and what is he doing? Well, the family relocated from Texas to Hawaii in 2021 with Ryan attending a private school. And from what we've seen on social media, his daily life now involves tennis, skateboarding, swimming, and a massive love for animation. He's officially listed as a creative director at Sunlight Entertainment, which in practice means occasional voiceover work and brief on-camera appearances when the brand needs him. And the Ryan's World channel still carries his name, the merchandise and all the toys still carry his face, but Ryan himself seems to be quietly, carefully building a life that exists outside of this social media.
Awesome, this is good. He should have been doing this.
He wants to do animation. He said it multiple times in interviews.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because...
I think that would also really do well for him. Like his first video, like Ryan's World, but animations, that would be fire.
Like the drawing, and then like at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've like worked on the whole time. And like sometimes I can see like the drafts first, and then after I can see like the full thing. And it's really cool to see how it changes over time.
Yeah, you were in the front.
He wants to create on his own a behind the camera series. And honestly, given everything he's been through, that desire makes complete sense. He spent his entire life being directed, managed, packaged and literally sold. So it makes sense now he wants to do everything on his own. He must love the freedom, or must desire the freedom, because he's only 13. He doesn't have freedom yet. So let me know guys' thoughts of Ryan's World and his entire empire crumbling. Were his parents in the wrong, or was it right to capitalize off a child who made them a lot of money?
Well, that's gonna do it for today's video. That was the Ryan's World situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about that. Do you think it's unethical to capitalize off your children's success? In my opinion, if I was Ryan's World, I would be grateful for my parents even doing this. Otherwise, he would have to go regular public school, had a regular life. Obviously, now he's good for life. So maybe as unethical as it might be that he was working from like a childhood age, he kind of sacrificed his childhood to be online. I do feel like it was worth it in the end, but maybe that's just me. Some people value their childhood more. I'll be the one to tell you my childhood. I'd rather have Ryan's childhood, all right? Either way, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, join Discord in your description. Let me know what you want to check out next in the comment section. It's luvhilal. I love you, and I'm out.
The deeper you go, the creepier prehistoric oceans get. Talk to me.
Prehistoric Ocean wasn't just dangerous. It was a liquid horror show where nightmare creatures with giant eyes stalked through eternal darkness. And some of these monsters are still alive today.
and we're gonna see which ones I could take on, right? Because I feel like it wouldn't make sense if I don't like let y'all know where my talents lie on physical capabilities throughout all these monsters, ocean
Looking
beast.
in places we've barely explored. Look, we think the ocean today is scary, which fair enough. It's got great whites and giant squids and whatever else is
Where's the great blacks at?
Down there that we haven't found yet. But prehistoric oceans, those were on a whole different level of nope. Picture this, you're in water so deep that sunlight gave up trying to reach you about half a mile ago.
I'm picturing
the pressure would crush you instantly. The temperature is just above freezing. And in this pitch black, bone-crushing void, things were living. And not just living, they were thriving. Getting weird, getting big, and getting really, really good at
getting weird and getting big. What type of party have we walked into?
Stuff. See, back then, the deep ocean was where evolution went completely off the rails. No sunlight meant no plants, so everything down there had to get creative.
Dog, what the heck is this monstrosity?
About dinner. Some grew massive eyes to catch the tiniest hint of light. Others just said screw it and went blind altogether. A few decided to even make their own light and wave it around like some kind of underwater.
Yeah, which is raw. Like when you really think about it, like animals who make their own light, like the lightning bugs and the fish, that's crazy.
Killer with a flashlight. And the really messed up part, these weren't just random monsters
like
that
what
showed
is that?
up for a few million years and then died out. In fact, they were already ancient when dinosaurs were still figuring out how to walk upright. And here's what really gets me. We only know about the ones that left fossils. Most deep sea creatures just dissolve when they die. Their shells get eaten by acid and they vanish without a trace. So for every horrifying prehistoric sea monster that we found, there's probably a dozen worse ones that we'll never even know existed. Like imagine there are 12 creatures out there.
Like imagine this is real, like an actual humanoid fish. Oh man, that would be so
terrifying.
hard.
The Megalodon. Deep Ocean back then was essentially a horror movie that ran for 500 million years, starring creatures that would make H.P. Lovecraft throw up, giant eyes staring through eternal darkness, teeth that don't fit in mouths.
Like, why they stopped showing that pig?
Their murder strategy since before your great times a million grandmother was even a twinkle in some
Palava salmon.
Meet the Ophthalmosaurus.
Yeah,
this
right.
Thing lived 150 million years ago
He
and had
cute.
eyes the size of dinner plates. Not small dinner plates either. We're talking full-sized, fancy restaurant dinner plates.
Man, he's so adorable.
Each eyeball was 9 inches across, which is bigger than most basketballs.
That's huge.
Now, you might be thinking, oh, big eyes, so what? Well, those massive eyes weren't just for looking pretty. They were for seeing in complete darkness while diving deeper than most nuclear submarines go today. This reptile could hold its breath for over 20 minutes and dive over 3,000 feet down into water so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face.
But it's a fish.
Why would anything want to do that though?
No, but it's a fish. So what do you mean by hold its breath?
Well, simple.
Like a dolphin?
Dinner was down there. The weirdest part is how good it was at this job. While other marine reptiles were splashing around in shallow water eating fish, Ophthalmosaurus was down there in the void.
Oh, he was getting action.
To spot the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence. Picture something bigger than a dolphin, but built like a torpedo, with eyes so big they had to be reinforced with rings of bone just so they wouldn't collapse under the pressure.
I'm taking it on because I'm gonna punch it in this big eye. Like that's a big eye for me to miss. Right before his beak touches me, I'm gonna be like, "Fire in the water," and he's gonna be like, "Yeah!"
And it wasn't even the only one doing this. We found these things all over Europe. So apparently diving into the abyss to hunt tentacled monsters was a popular career choice back then.
Is he getting touched?
You something about how messed up the Jurassic oceans really were. But what if you didn't even need massive eyes to be a nightmare? Phosphorus was only 12 feet long. In the world of prehistoric sea monsters,
12 feet. That's 12 feet long. That's more than 2 of me. And his eyes are small. I need to think about this one.
Long. In the world of prehistoric sea monsters, that's basically a minnow. But here's the thing about this particular minnow. It had forward-facing eyes. You know what else has forward-facing eyes? Owls, hawks, things that hunt and kill other things for a living. Most reptiles have eyes on the sides of their heads because they spend their time trying
running
to get
away.
Eaten. Fossilosaurus, This guy had
he's
both
on the
eyes
prowl.
straight ahead.
He's just like me in the ocean.
Make a sniper jealous.
Yo, I might not be able to take him out because he's just a better me since he built for the. Okay.
And those eyes were huge. Not Ophthalmosaurus huge, but big enough that they probably took up half its skull. Scientists think this little monster was nocturnal, while all the big scary mosasaurs were sleeping off.
Is that not just a T-Rex in the water?
Bosfosaurus was just getting started. It would cruise through the dark waters, using those precision-guided eyes to pick off glowing lanternfish and squid that thought they were safe in the night. The really twisted part is how good it was at this job. We're talking about a reptile that figured out how to be an underwater owl 70 million years before actual owls even existed. It wasn't
See, I'm a man before his time. Is that not meat, bro? My favorite underwater creature, bro.
Big prey in broad daylight. So it just waited until dark and became the ocean's first serial killer. And get this, it lived in Japan. So while T-Rex was stomping around on land, the waters off prehistoric Japan were being stalked by this small, precise killer with giant forward-facing eyes. Just cruising through the darkness, picking off anything dumb enough to light itself up. Talk about evolutionary specialization. Most mosasaurs were built like buses. This one was built like a scalpel. And of course, some deep sea killers took a more direct approach. Viperfish have teeth.
That could never be me. Look at that ugly thing. First off, look at it. I'm catching it like this, and then I'm gonna bite the back of it to let it know who's boss. Man, disgusting fish.
So long, they stick out of their mouth even when it's closed. These aren't normal teeth. These are straight up fangs that curve back toward the eyes.
This can't be real. This literally looks fake. This looks like it's in a show.
Because there's literally nowhere else.
Like the eyeballs look painted on.
This fish has been perfecting its nightmare look for 15 million years, and honestly, it nailed it on the first try. The teeth are so big that if a human had proportional fangs, they would be dragging on the ground when you walked. But here's where it gets really messed up. Viperfish use these teeth by ramming into their prey at full speed. You'd think hitting something tooth first would mess up your skull pretty bad. Well, Viperfish thought of that too. They evolved a built-in crumple zone. The first bone behind their head is basically a shock absorber that keeps their brain from turning into soup every
so it just goes headbutting things.
So
it must have been a football player in this
dark, completely motionless,
in this current life.
To swim by. Then it fires itself forward and impales whatever was unlucky enough to be in the neighborhood. There's no chase scene, there's no fancy hunting strategy, just pure
That's not me. That's not
efficiency.
Me. But how would I get that? So if it's attacking off of first movement, I'm gonna just move faster than it and then catch it. Because it's easy to see.
Viperfish have lights all along their
belly.
See,
it has lights on them.
Themselves from below, and a little fish lure on their back to attract prey from above. So they're basically a floating death trap with a neon sign that says "Free food here." And they're still doing this today. Right now, somewhere in the deep ocean, a viperfish is hanging perfectly still with its mouth full of fangs.
It is not moving, bruh. Like, it really is not moving a muscle.
They've been at it for millions of years, and they're not going to be stopping anytime soon. And they are really scary, but they're not that big compared to the goblin shark, which is also still around.
I see why it's called a goblin with that nostril. Oh my God, that schnauzer! How does that nose help it in evolution, bro? Please tell me. If it comes after me, I'ma just grab its nose and then won't be able to reach me with its mouth.
Today, the goblin shark looks like someone tried to design a shark, but had only ever had a description from someone who'd never seen one. Pink skin, flabby body, and a snout that looks like it belongs on a different animal entirely. But that's not even the scary part. The scary part is what happens when it opens its mouth. The goblin shark can shoot its entire jaw forward about a foot outside its head. Just boom. Suddenly, there's a...
Why do fish just camp beside their predators? Like, that just pisses me off so badly.
Mouth where no mouth should be. Full of long needle teeth, grabbing whatever was unlucky enough to be nearby.
I'm telling you, y'all don't want to see me be a fish, bro. I'm taking over the ocean.
Looking for the perfect outfit? You can search and try on looks virtually with Google.
Bro, no matter if I'm Nemo or a great white, bro, I promise you I'm taking over the ocean. The survival instincts of these fish is ridiculous.
This thing has been doing this exact same strategy for 125 million years. We know this because we keep finding fossil goblin sharks that look exactly the same as the ones swimming around today.
They've been ugly for millions of years.
And trying new things, the goblin shark was just...
You know how crazy it is to be ugly for millions of years, bro? Millions. You know what's crazy? Like someone looks in the mirror and they're like, I'm the best looking member of my family and I'm ugly. Does that mean my whole bloodline just was ugly for millions of years? Is that how that works? Can a whole bloodline be cursed?
Going, nah, I'm good. This is working fine for me. And why would it change? It lives so deep that nothing bothers it. It just floats around in the dark, waiting for something to swim close enough to its face. Then it fires that jaw out and drags dinner back into its mouth. No chasing, no fighting.
Like that fish is literally just camping right beside him. Like you asked for that.
We barely ever see them
because they're
live
ugly,
so deep, and are so rare that most people who study sharks for a living have never even seen a living one.
And they're ugly
down there right now, drifting through the darkness with their extendable nightmare.
Oh, like get it out my face, please.
Same thing.
I've seen enough
since before grass existed.
I've seen enough.
Of sharks, there's another nightmare shark still living today. Frilled sharks look normal until you get up close.
Where's your teeth
then
at?
You realize this thing has 300 teeth arranged in...
Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna lie, his mouth makes me uncomfortable. Look at the teeth as it goes there. Oh my goodness, bro.
Thing has 300 teeth arranged in 25 rows. And every single one of them is shaped like a tiny trident.
Okay, so you need to make sure that he doesn't get a hold of you, because he gets a hold of you, you're not getting out. So what I'm probably gonna do is like, I'm gonna wait for him, I'm gonna stalk him and wait for him to come after me. And as he's launching his mouth at me, I'm gonna push him, I'm gonna hit him with one of these, push him up, and then I'm gonna grab him with my grippers, right? And I'm probably gonna grow my nails out so I can really stab into him, and I'm gonna grab him like that, take a bite at him from this backside, easy.
When I say tiny, I mean each tooth is still big enough to do some serious damage. This shark is basically a 6-foot long swimming mouth that's been practicing the same routine for 80 billion years. It moves through the water like an eel, all wavy and smooth, until something gets too close. Then it strikes forward and swallows prey that's half its own size, whole. No chewing, no tearing it apart, just straight down the hatch. The really disturbing part is how good it is at hiding. Frilled sharks live in caves and...
How do they breed? No, because I'm just really curious, because these animals have to breed to continue, and they're very ugly. So like, why would they want to keep breeding with each other? Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if I was one of these fish and I saw another fish like that, I'd be like, ugh.
Then come out at night to hunt. They're almost never seen.
That looks like a mole rat. Can we please keep them in the water?
Surface. So for most of human history, we had no idea they existed. We just kept finding their teeth in ancient rock and assuming they were extinct. Then, in the 1800s, some unlucky fishermen pulled one up and everyone realized these things never left. They've been down there this whole time, slithering through underwater caves and swallowing squid whole while the rest of the world moved on without them.
Like fish look so uncanny.
They're still doing it. Right now, somewhere in the deep Atlantic, a frilled shark is probably coiled up in some dark crevice.
Like they look so uncanny, dog.
300-tooth mouth design that worked perfectly.
He has a lot of hyperpigmentation. He doesn't do his skincare like at all. Well, I know my skin isn't perfect, but man, you could try to take care of your skin a little bit more than that, bro. Like, come on.
Fine when dinosaurs were still walking around. This creature was so good at its job that evolution looked at this 80 million years ago and said, yeah, that's terrifying enough, and just kept it the same way. But some deep sea monsters found even stranger solutions.
Anglerfish, the most famous ugly fish of all time. Blobfish, one of the most famous fishes of all time though, bro.
Female anglerfish carry around their own personal fishing rod with a glowing lure on the end. They sit perfectly still in total darkness, waving this little light around until something swims over to investigate. Then they open their mouth and swallow whatever was dumb enough to fall for the oldest trick in the book. That's not the weird part though. The weird part is what happens when a male anglerfish finds a female. He bites onto her and then never lets go. Ever. In fact, his mouth fuses to her skin, his blood vessels connect to hers, and he basically becomes a permanent sperm-producing tumor on the side of her body. This has been going on for 50 million years, by the way.
Like, genuinely one of the ugliest things you could have ever shown me. There was no need to spread this pic at all.
These things are ancient. That was 50 billion years of males biting onto females and becoming living, breathing.
Why his eyelashes so long?
Organs. The females are totally fine with this arrangement because finding a mate in the endless black void of the deep ocean is basically impossible otherwise, just like my dating life. The male doesn't even have a functioning digestive system once he attaches. He just hangs there, getting all his nutrients from the female's bloodstream, waiting for her to need his services. Some females have multiple males attached at once, which
Trident vibes.
means they're swimming around with several zombie boyfriends grafted to their
Swimming
bodies.
around with a harem on them
Evolution
back.
looked at the problem of finding mates in infinite darkness and said, you know what, let's just make all the males into parasites. And it works so well that there are now dozens of different anglerfish species, all
I
doing
don't need to see these dirty fish.
All the hunting, all the surviving, all the work, while carrying around what are essentially biological sperm banks that used to be an independent fish. It's the most one-sided relationship in the animal kingdom, and for some reason, both parties seem completely happy with it. But anglerfish weren't the first to thrive in impossible places.
Okay, now we're getting in. Now we're getting to disgustingness, testism, bro. Oh my god.
Creature, we need to go back to the beginning. 430 million years ago, the ocean floor was splitting open and spewing out water so hot it should have killed everything for miles around. Instead, worms moved in and built cities. Now, these weren't normal worms. They were tube worms that figured out how to live next to underwater volcanoes by making friends with bacteria.
I can't tell what's the worm was not, but I'm feeling uncomfortable.
The vents, and the worms would eat the bacteria. Everyone was happy except for anything that tried to live anywhere else on the sea floor, because it was basically a chemical wasteland. We know this happened because we keep finding fossilized
finding cigarettes?
Worm tubes in ancient rocks that formed around these volcanic
Worm
vents.
tubes,
Thousands of
yeah.
tubes all clustered together around.
Yo, I bet you they go so hard on a chain though. You cut them up a little bit, put them on a chain. Ugh.
What used to be black smokers shooting out 700-degree water. The worms had no eyes, no mouths, and no way to catch food on their own. They just sat there in their tubes, letting their bacterial roommates
Just praying for the best.
In fact, they're doing the exact same setup in the exact
as the anglerfish
same places, with the exact same species of bacteria. 400 million years later, and tube worms are still the only things tough enough to live right next to
like what the heck? Okay, what is this? Is this the bacteria or is this the tube worm? This is no, I'm not liking this at all, but they look like they might taste good.
Geysers. The really wild part is that these vent sites don't last very long. The volcanoes shut off, the chemistry changes, and the whole community has to pack up and find a new vent somewhere else. But somehow, these worms have been playing this game of volcanic musical chairs for nearly 500 million years. Most creatures spend their time trying to avoid getting cooked alive. Tube worms spent 430 million years perfecting the art of living inside a natural
I wonder if tube worms were real people if they were like anime.
And speaking of ancient survivors, some fish took hiding to ridiculous extremes. In 1938, a museum curator got a phone call about a weird fish that had been caught off the coast.
I thought a fish caught her. I'm sitting here like, since when have fish learned how to dial?
Of South Africa. She went to look at it and immediately knew she was staring at something that was supposed to be extinct for 66 million years. The Khaleesian
How did you know that off a rip?
Game of hide and seek. While everyone else was dealing with asteroid impacts and ice ages and whatever other disasters were happening on the surface, Khaleesians just moved into some deep underwater caves and decided to sit this whole modern era thing out. Scientists
bro just chills and vibes for millions of years,
going all the way back to fish that lived 360 billion.
Oh, like look at the size of the head of this fish, man. I might need at least 2 of me to take this one off.
Years ago, they figured these things died out with the dinosaurs. Turns out they just got really good at avoiding people. They were hanging out in caves 600 feet down, coming out at night to hunt, and basically living the exact same lifestyle their great
They kind of look cool though, besides their face.
Since before trees existed. The fish that got caught in 1938 caused such a big deal that they put out a reward for anyone who could find another one.
They literally said, hey, this fish might be extinct. If you find another one, I'll give you 20 bands. Like, this is how things go extinct, dog. 100 pounds. If y'all find this fish that should have been extinct. Like, that's why we don't have good things.
In fact, it took 14 years to find a second fish that had supposedly been extinct since the Cretaceous period. That's some next level hiding skills right there. And when they finally studied living coelacanths, they found out these fish hadn't bothered to evolve much of anything in all that time. Same weird fins, same weird skulls, and the same weird way of giving birth to live babies instead of laying eggs. So while everything else was evolving, adapting, and trying new things,
they just
were in their caves going, nah, I'm good, I'll see you in a couple million years. But other ancient creatures took a different approach to survival in the oceans. Imagine walking through a forest where every single tree is actually an animal. Well, that's what the ancient sea floor looked like when sea lilies were running the show. These things grew 60 feet tall and swayed in the current with their feathery arms.
60 feet tall. 60. Right. See, okay.
Spread out to catch food floating by. They weren't lilies and they weren't plants. They were animals that just happened to look like underwater flowers.
So like a Venus flytrap.
Floor in dense forests that stretched for miles.
They're the OG aquatic flytrap.
Some of these underwater trees were taller than a 6-story building. All of them stuck to the seafloor by their roots and waving their arms around trying to catch dinner. The crazy part is how successful this strategy was. For hundreds of millions of years, being a giant underwater flower was apparently the way to go. Sea lily fossils are so common that entire limestone cliffs are made out of nothing but their broken stems and arms. Literally whole mountains of dead sea lily parts. Most of them got wiped out during the big extinction at the end of the Permian period, but a few species said, you know what, we're just—
that just looks like an underwater spider.
Their thing in the abyss. We didn't even know they were still alive until the 1800s when someone finally dragged one up from the deep ocean. Today, there are still sea lilies down there. The exact same thing they've been doing for 300 billion years, standing around on the seafloor, waving their arms in the current, catching whatever floats by.
They're just doing
not as tall
nothing.
As they used to be, and there aren't nearly as many of them, but they're still out there being living flowers on the bottom of the ocean. Talk about sticking with what works. Now we're about to talk about my favorite prehistoric marine reptile, the Basilosaurus.
Is this an underwater giraffe? Why is his neck so long? This is easy claps for me. I've been completely forgetting the fact that I'm supposed to be killing. Okay, how would I kill the anglerfish? I'm grabbing this light and twisting it in a circle, bro. I'm not tweaking on the anglerfish, whatever. That stupid fish. Then the fish after that, the one that had different colors, it hid for millions of years. I'm not worried about something that doesn't want no smoke. And sea lilies, they're underground flowers. I'm eating those. Now this Apocalipsosaurus, there is a small problem with this. It's purely because of how big it is, but that neck, I'm tearing that thing up. That neck is too long. He won't be able to figure out where I am. I'm gonna just be hiding on that neck. I'm gonna be pounding that neck, boy.
Basilosaurus literally means bottomless lizard, which is probably the most metal name any prehistoric reptile ever got. And unlike most dinosaur names that sound way cooler than the actual animal, this one earned it. This thing was a plesiosaur that looked at the deep ocean, decided
He's like the aura sea creature. He trying to spook you. Boo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so scared. Give me that neck.
That's where it wanted to live permanently. Not just visit for hunting trips, but full-time residency in the abyss. So it evolved the heaviest bones of any marine reptile ever found. Dense, thick bones that worked as built-in weights to drag it down into the darkness. Most marine reptiles had lightweight bones to help them float and swim efficiently.
He didn't want that.
Basilosaurus went the opposite direction.
Yeah, he didn't want that.
Basically turned its skeleton into a lead vest. It wanted to sink, and it wanted to stay sunk. This thing
wanted to get bit too.
Of barrels to hold enough air for extended deep dives. Then it would just drop like a rock into water so deep that the pressure would crush a human instantly. Down there in the total darkness, it would cruise just
like I hate when they refer to like a human. Like I'm not just a human, bro. I'm a big dog.
Or with those massive eyes scanning for anything dumb enough to be wandering around in the void. Small head, long neck, perfect for darting forward and grabbing squid or fish before they knew what hit them. And this wasn't just some weird experiment that lasted a few thousand years. Abyssosaurus was doing this for millions of years in the early Cretaceous, while other plesiosaurs were splashing around in shallow
that's a nasty looking dinosaur.
In the deepest, darkest parts of the
a
ocean.
nasty looking dinosaur,
a lifestyle that wouldn't be out of place in a horror movie. The name says it all. Bottomless lizard. It's also got like the coolest name of any dinosaur out there. It's a marine reptile, but it's got the similar
Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's not many names cooler than that.
Just said, this
Pterodactyl's a fire name too.
Things got even weirder in the oceans.
What is this?
Ophthalmethol lived near the Arctic.
No, that's a Pokemon. What is this body type?
Ophthalmethol lived near the Arctic
Circle brother.
145 million years ago.
Oh, brother.
It had to deal with months of total darkness during the polar winter. Most reptiles would have called that a deal breaker. Ophthalmethol saw it as a business opportunity. This plesiosaur had huge eyes that pointed straight up at the ceiling of the ocean. It spent its entire life staring at the surface, waiting for something to swim overhead so it could see the silhouette against whatever tiny bit of light was filtering down. When it found something up there, it would rise up from the bottom like
ridiculously long neck.
A movie monster and grab whatever was unlucky enough to be swimming above it. But here is the really weird part. Scientists have found rocks in this thing's stomach. Not fish bones, not squid beaks, but rocks. The name Ophthalmethol means Eye of the North.
He's a rock type of guy. Like, Lord forbid a fish get a hobby.
It is pretty accurate considering it was basically a swimming eyeball that lived at the North Pole. But long before any of these monsters existed, something made a terrible decision.
A shrimp.
Trilobites had the best eyes in the ocean for 200 million years. They had compound eyes with perfect crystal lenses.
Yeah, I don't like this. What is this, like a fly eye, bro? Like a spider eye?
Then some of them looked at the deep ocean and decided to throw all of it away. They just gave up sight entirely. They now had smooth blank spaces where their amazing eyes used to be. No pupils, no lenses, nothing. They voluntarily became blind and moved into the darkest parts of the ocean where they spent the next...
I can easily stomp one of these out too. That last guy kind of scary, bro. I don't know, I might stay away from him.
...years feeling around in the mud for dead things to eat. This wasn't some gradual evolutionary process either. These things had perfectly good eyes. Then their descendants just didn't. It was like something decided that seeing was overrated and crawling.
How people think I fill my containers super empty. 70% product, 40% air.
Blind on the seafloor was a better lifestyle choice. Obviously, there was an advantage to it. That is the whole point of evolution, where new traits that emerge that are beneficial lead to the species surviving.
Like, look at all these exact same animals with slight differences, and they all have different names, bro. Like, studying things like this has to be hell.
Apparently, it worked out pretty well for them because blind trilobites were everywhere in the deep ocean. Thousands of them all feeling their way around the darkness with their antennae, bumping into each other, stepping on dead fish, living their best lives without any idea what anything actually looked like. In fact, they survived multiple mass extinctions this way.
You think they can learn Braille?
If you can't see the asteroid coming, there's no point in worrying about it. The last trilobites on Earth were probably the blind deep sea ones, still crawling around in the mud, still feeling for food with their antennae.
I wonder.
Unaware that they were the final members of one of the most successful
they're dead.
in history.
Dang, they can't learn Braille.
Ignorance really is bliss. But today's deep ocean has its own version of unstoppable
giant isopod.
Bugs. Giant isopods are what happens when you take a regular pill bug and feed it nothing but protein powder.
Oh, I thought that was like a lobster or something.
These things are the size of footballs and can go 5 years without eating.
That is a lobster.
5 years.
5 years without eating? I think I want to go 5 years eating only it. Look at that. Like, how can you go 5 years for what?
That is nuts. They also look creepy as hell. There is a giant isopod in
This is like a boss, like a face of a boss in a horror game or some sort, bruh.
Captivity that didn't eat for
like
half
an
a
NPC
decade and then died. Probably just to prove a point to humans that we don't deserve to keep them. They live on the deep ocean floor where food is so scarce that when something finally dies and sinks down to their level, it's like Christmas morning. Hundreds of these massive ocean bugs will detect the smell from miles away and come swarming over to the carcass like the world's most disturbing family reunion. Once they find a dead whale or fish, they'll gorge themselves until they are so stuffed they can barely move.
Are they just laying on each other?
Christmas dinner. Then they will just sit there for months, maybe years, slowly digesting their meal while waiting for the next thing to die and fall from above.
Nah, these are nasty. Please get out my face.
Most animals would starve to death in a few weeks without food. Giant isopods have turned waiting into an art form. They'll sit perfectly still on the sea floor, doing absolutely
everything
nothing
about this thing is nasty looking, bro.
Alive. And when they do finally encounter a predator, they just roll up into a ball.
Next fish.
To go away.
Next fish.
No fighting, just full-on defensive.
Please, next fish.
Gets bored and leaves. They're essentially the ocean's version of that friend who deals with problems by pretending they don't exist. 30 million years of evolution, and their survival strategy is eating once every few years and hiding from their problems.
That gotta be hard though, you know what I'm saying? You just living life. You're like, oh wait, been about half a decade, time to eat, and then go back to living life. Like I bet you they have the best stories because all they do is just roam around, you know, enjoying life without having to worry about eating. They might actually have some good stories to tell. We should try to learn how to communicate with them. When we learn how to communicate with fish, they'll be able to let us know like what type of things are really in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like what were they seeing? They've been around for millions of years and they can't speak a single word underwater. They can't make no clicks. They've been around for millions of years and they don't produce any sound. Like what? So whales go and that's it?
But even those survivors look normal.
What the heck is this giant? What is this? Diplomaticosaurus.
Next,
yeah, okay.
Scientists found a fossil that looked like someone had bent a giant squid shell into a paperclip and decided that was a perfectly reasonable way to live for 200 years. That's Diplomacerus, and yes, you heard that right. It lived for 200 years. This thing outlived entire dinosaurs known to live long, well shaped like office supplies.
Hold on, why were dinosaurs living for 100 years in the first place? Imagine them on a proper diet. Like they were able to count their macros and things of that nature. They exercise, like, you know what I'm saying? They might be able to live for like 150. Imagine if they had medicine. Bro, if dinosaurs had medicine, they could have been pushing like 175. Cause what, once we started learning about medicine and then we started learning about things that are healthy and unhealthy, human like life expectancy literally doubled. We doubled. Theirs could double. I think you send me back in time with the dinosaurs, I could literally double their lifespan. We can build enough dinosaurs that are like alive, you know what I'm saying? So since lifespans are getting doubled, that means more dinosaurs gonna be alive at one time. Then I get a group of them, I motivate a group of them, right? On some Urban type speech, and we send them all in a crater. That's gonna be where the asteroid lands and they block it. Yo, I'm onto something, bro. Send me back in time, bro. I'm gonna see if I can get some dinosaurs to help block the asteroid. Hold up.
There are very few things on Earth that can live longer than 200 years. I can only name like the Greenland shark off the top of my head. Not a lot of things have ever lived that long. Most ammonites curled their shells into tight spirals because that's efficient and makes sense. Diplomacerus looked at that design and said, actually,
you look like a
what
trumpet.
If I just grew in a big U shape instead? And it proceeded to float around in the ancient ocean for 2 centuries, looking like a 10-foot tall paperclip with tentacles. The shell shape was so weird that when paleontologists first found these fossils, they thought they were looking at multiple different animals that had somehow gotten stuck together. Nobody could believe that one creature would voluntarily grow itself into that shape and then live with the consequences for 200 years.
That's so ugly, bro. How do they breed?
Lifestyle worked out great.
How do they breed?
Diplomacerus would float vertically in the water with its head hanging down from the bottom of the U, just hovering there and grabbing whatever swam by. And they did this for a very long time. The same individual ammonite floating in the same spot,
tuba too.
like a paperclip for longer than Canada has existed as a country. They counted the growth rings in the shell and found 200 of them, which means this
How did they
thing
breed
was
though?
already ancient when it was still alive. Evolution spent millions of years perfecting the spiral shell design, then Diplomacerus showed up and decided to reinvent.
This could definitely be a Pokemon. If this was a Pokemon, people would literally get mad at Pokemon for the design because they're gonna be like, oh, this is so stupid. Like y'all are just
deep down. You've always had something special.
like designing stupid things.
Wheel as a pretzel. Yet even that weirdness pales next to the ocean's
What is that?
aliens. Charnia.
I thought that was a
65 million years ago, before
Never
there
mind.
were fish, before there were any sharks, before there were basically any animals you would recognize, the deep ocean floor was covered in things that looked like they'd been designed by aliens,
Just
who
like
had never
feathers.
seen Earth life before. Charnia was a 2-meter tall feather made of living tissue that
Y'all didn't know I'm like that, huh? Just one more thing to remind you that I'm really like that. Come on now. No matter how much y'all gonna say I'm not, I just proved that I am. You're not like that. Y'all talking about some leaf. Come on, guys. Y'all didn't know the earth grew feathers, man?
had no mouth, no stomach, no eyes, and no way to move. It just stood there on the seafloor, swaying in the current, absorbing nutrients directly through its skin from the surrounding water.
Bro's life must have been boring.
Of years. No predators existed yet, so nothing bothered it. No competition for food, so it didn't need to hunt. No reason to evolve quickly, so it stayed exactly the same, doing exactly nothing that for longer than complex life has existed anywhere else. These things covered the seafloor in vast.
Like, it can't even do a money spread. It's just sitting there flowing in the ocean. They can't do a single money spread. Like, get this out of here.
Thousands of them, all identical, all motionless. All just standing there absorbing chemicals from seawater while the rest of Earth figured out what evolution was supposed to be doing. They had fractal patterns built into their bodies that repeated at every level of magnification. Perfectly mathematical designs that wouldn't look out of place in a computer program.
Is that an Earth's butt plug? Y'all are not slick, man. Let's be so for real.
Except this was half a billion
years
before
an earthly butt plug,
or
bro.
math or anything that should have been able to create patterns that precise even existed. When Charnia finally went extinct, it left no descendants. Nothing alive today is even remotely related to it. It was an evolutionary experiment that ran for 30 million years. Then it completely vanished, leaving only fossils to prove it ever existed.
Bozo.
The ocean's first complex life forms were alien feathered creatures with fractal patterns that fed by standing perfectly still, absorbing nutrients from them. Honestly, there are probably millions more of animal species even weirder. We don't even know.
Yeah, we don't know.
That is the scary
they all
part
died.
About the prehistoric ancient ocean. There are so
and
many
left
species
no
we've
fossils,
found, and yet there are so many we haven't. There are probably monsters that once lived down there that we would think were aliens of how crazy they are. What do you think is still down there today?
Forget what's down there, man. I need them to find proof of dragons. I don't know if they have. I know they found something like maybe somewhat similar, but I want to confirm dragons so I can like do it, reverse engineer his DNA and raise one nowadays. And keep in mind, 99% of species haven't fossilized. Bozos. Doing the exact same thing they've been doing since before grass existed. I'll give them something to grass about. Amazing video, Spin O Snack.
There's a reason I trust my shopping list with Shipped. Shoppers with Shipped know that no order is ordinary and come through adding care to my cart. They double check labels, wouldn't confuse mozzarella for Monterey Jack, and they know what's right. With Shipped,
Twisting motion of his hips, the bicycle.
If I had to hump, thrust, and bust to get around the city, I would be in the city more. Today we're going to be scrolling through YouTube, and I'm sure it's going to be perfectly normal.
If you were accused of a crime with no witnesses, did anyone see him do it? The courts would let God decide your fate.
And God is cake. Okay.
And one way they did this was by blessing a hard, stale piece of bread. And with the bread, you were placed in front of a screaming crowd. And even if you were truly innocent, you were forced to eat the bread. And if you made any small mistake, like a gag or choke, it was seen as God deeming you guilty.
So they gave you stale bread and said, if you eat this stale bread like it's stale bread, we're going to get your head. That's stupid.
If you can't fit through these poles, you're not allowed to hike this path. It's called the Spooky Gulch.
Dog, what? If your stomach too big or your butt too fat, this trail is not meant for that. Like,
canyon in Utah that can get extremely tight, around 10 inches wide. And although some people complain saying these poles aren't necessary, it may be true in the beginning. But towards the middle, you'll find out exactly why these poles are necessary.
Like, why would I even want to be here?
Because if you ignore them, this can happen.
Why would I want to do that? Bro, imagine getting stuck because your butt too fat, bro. I can't go here. I can't have my cheeks clobbering beside rocks.
In 2023, McDonald's promised free food for life to anyone who can live in their restaurant for 30 days straight, and thousands tried hiding in place tubes and bathroom stalls. But security caught them all within hours until this genius built a secret compartment inside the storage room behind stacks of Happy Meal boxes. He stayed there for almost a month with employees just walking past him hundreds of times without noticing anything.
Wow.
But on day 29, he got caught when a manager needed to restock the Happy Meal toys he was—
Day 29? Yeah, no, that's cap. I was in no day 29.
hiding behind. That did technically disqualify him, but McDonald's still gave him a $100,000 gift card.
100K of McDonald's? I feel bad for his colon though. Golly, because you don't want to waste the 100K. I think he went straight for his balls. I think nuts were sacrificed. Dog went straight for booty. Dog is just like me.
Yo, get out the way. Move to the right, move to the right, move to the right. Oh, shit.
Why did he do that? Why did he do that?
Bro, what's wrong with you?
Oh, that nut shot? Oh yeah, he gonna get clobbered. Boom. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Okay. I mean, I'm not a parkour type of guy. I'm gonna pause this before it gets bad. Okay. Did he just get pushed off?
I think the thing that separates Philadelphia from other cities, a lot of people move here either for work, whatever, but they end up staying here for an extended period of time. I feel like with the other cities.
No. Oh, what? First one was definitely the worst.
These are 10 weird things you didn't know about Napoleon. Firstly, Napoleon was overly obsessed with taking hot baths, often sitting in a tub for multiple hours every day, writing letters and giving orders.
I know for a fact his skin was snaily. Napoleon was 80 by the time he was 12. Golly.
Servants kept refilling it with hot water, even having a portable emergency bath for active military operations.
Like, I'm assassinating him if that's one of the things I have to do. Carry around a tub all day?
Next, Napoleon would sometimes disguise himself as a civilian just to hear what people are saying about him. He would walk around France listening to people, having conversations, or sometimes even debating soldiers about himself. But he gets weirder. Napoleon was extremely obsessed with cologne. Using it so much, it was reported he ordered 50 bottles of cologne every month.
Yo, Napoleon might be the freshest smelling king of all time. Ahead of the game.
At one point, even drinking tiny drops
or the dumbest.
Wow. Believing it had benefits. Napoleon also barely slept, only 3 to 4 hours every night. Thinking too much sleep made you a weak man, along with eating extremely fast, finishing meals in under 10 minutes, thinking eating was a waste of time. He also had a severe licorice addiction.
He was
always
a time
keeping some in his pocket wherever he went, eating so much of it.
I don't think he has a licorice addiction. I think he needs sleep.
His teeth would often be stained black. Beyond that, he would get way too focused during battles, completely ignoring danger, where gunshots and cannonballs would reportedly hit near him and he just kept giving orders, or also completely forgetting to eat meals.
So Napoleon was just aura man. Didn't sleep because he had to work, didn't eat because he had to work, smelled good all the time. And in the midst of battles, he's just like, hey, if I die, I die. Napoleon was like that? You know what? Maybe that is my king. Maybe I would move that tub for him. If he's that locked in, maybe.
The heavy dirt above would pour in, meaning it would fill the space in seconds.
Yeah, you can't dig up. You got to dig down. Let me explain. All right, obviously, if you dig up, the dirt's just going to fill the coffin. No good. You're going to have to dig down. Pop a hole in the coffin and immediately start peeing. If you add liquid to dirt, it shrinks because it becomes more compact. Once the dirt gets loose, just simply start stomping it to increase the hole size. That's when you can dig up through the top, because once you do, the dirt will just fall into the hole you made with your pee. Guys, come on, this is like grade 1 level knowledge.
I think I did this back in, I think it was 08 when I accidentally got buried alive, bro. Terrifying time. But then I recalled learning this by my elementary school teacher, and it saved my life.
This is why so many engineering students fail their final exams, because at the end of every semester, their final assignment is to build a sturdy tower completely out of thin sticks that has to support heavy weights without collapsing. That's where this professor, after over a week of preparation, decided that he would give his engineering students a very high stakes challenge. He told his class that if even just one of the towers can support the weight of this dumbbell, then everyone would automatically get an A+. This immediately got the entire class excited, as they thought for sure at least one person will build a strong enough tower.
Y'all think anyone actually build a strong enough tower? I bet you he just made a fake test, bro. I don't think a single one of them got it. I don't even think it's possible. I think he's just holding them.
But one after another, they all collapsed. It became clear that most towers couldn't handle the weight of the dumbbell, with even the professor starting to doubt whether anyone was going to pass the challenge. But that's when the last student brought his tower forward and complete.
Oh, of course, it was the last student too, right, guys? Of course it's the last student, not the first, not the third, not the fifth. It was the last one, of course.
He smashed the record. It turned out his tower was so well designed that it couldn't just hold one dumbbell, but 4 of them.
The professor made that one. I'm not hearing it. The professor made that one. The last student. Sure.
Even 97 years later, this experiment is still running. It's the slowest experiment in the world. Back in 1927, an Australian physics professor named Parnell wanted to prove that pitch, a substance that shatters like glass when struck with a hammer, is actually a liquid, not a solid. But it took 3 years for the molten pitch to harden in the funnel, so the experiment officially began in 1930. Then the waiting started. It took 8 years for the first drop to fall and 9 years for the second. Before the third drop fell, Professor Parnell passed away. But the experiment continued. To this day...
So what's the point? So it's a liquid. Now what? Now what, like... And?
Only 9 drops have fallen in nearly a century.
100 years?
Finally proving that pitch is a liquid, 20 billion times more viscous than water and 2 million times thicker than honey.
Okay. But what is viscous? Do we need to know viscous or pitch? Whatever this is called.
2 monks once made a promise. We shall never touch a woman. From that day on, they...
All right, buddy. Y'all have fun with that one. Y'all got it. I'm leaving the temple. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm not a monk no more.
Avoided all contact with women. Even when beautiful women approached them, they simply walked away. Years passed. Promise unbroken. Until one day...
Just a woman comes up, trying to swoon you, and you're just like, show the cock. I won't touch you if there's no cock. Come on. Show it to me. Oh. You have no cock? Skedaddle. I only want cock.
They saw a stunning woman struggling to cross a river.
Let her die.
Without a word, the older monk stepped forward, lifted her gently, carried her through the river, and set her down safely.
That river couldn't have been that crazy if you were able to pick her up and walk. Hold up, no, let me hear that BS again. What happened?
Struggling to cross a river.
Maybe she didn't have heels on.
Without a word, the older monk stepped forward, lifted her gently, carried her through the river, and set her down safely.
His excuse is gonna be like, I didn't touch her. I touched her dress.
He smiled and said, "Please, have a safe journey," then continued walking like nothing happened. But the younger monk was stunned. He stayed quiet, but inside he was boiling with anger. How could he touch a woman? They walked for hours
is so silly.
In silence. Finally, the young monk exploded. "Master, we took a vow never to touch a woman, yet you carried her in your arms." The old monk calmly replied, "I left her at the river hours ago, but you're still carrying her." And in that moment,
I left her at the like, don't carry her in her. Don't carry the woman in your heart. That was whack. Like, you can't be attached to worldly possessions, basically. That's basically what it's saying. You don't get attached to worldly things.
The young monk realized the heaviest burdens.
This monk isn't young.
Are never in our hands. They live in our minds.
I would have been so pissed regardless. I would have been like, why didn't you tell me that? I could have been touching women for years. I could have had my first kiss, but I listened to you.
This is why you should never trust an artist. This guy starts by sticking some simple wallpaper inside a metal can.
Okay.
Then he places a perfectly round mirror at the bottom so he can begin the deception.
Whoa.
He adds a thick rope, a tiny wooden ladder, and even a vintage lantern. But none of that is the real trick.
It's
because
not.
when he puts a glass lid on top, your
it
brain
looks like
is
it goes down
completely
forever.
fooled. It looks like a mind-bending tunnel that never...
Whoa. Like, I love like some content creator voices, bro. It's just so funny, bro. They make the simplest things sound so serious.
Medieval women would intentionally give their husbands a small dose of poison in the morning, just enough to make them sick. The idea was that the husband would slowly grow weaker and wouldn't fall for other women. Because of that, they would come back home very early.
They would kill their husband slowly so they don't touch other women. That's hilarious.
And then she give them the antidote to create a fake impression of healing when their husbands are around them.
Oh, that's
Medieval
hard.
Women would
Oh, that's so hard. I'm not gonna lie. They had their thinking caps on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You should have checked the door because now he got throated. That's unfortunate. Remember, guys, always check y'all doors before the throat monster comes and sticks it in.
During World War I, Canadian soldiers tossed a tin can into the German trenches. The moment they saw something flying toward them, the German soldiers panicked. Thinking it was a grenade, they quickly took cover. But when nothing exploded, they slowly came out and approached the object. It was just a can. Curious, they opened it, and to their surprise, it was full of meat. They shared the unexpected meal. Soon after, another can landed.
It gotta be poisoned meat. No way they're getting trolled. They're prepping them mentally to not be scared. Okay, Canada.
But this time they quickly realized it was more food. Then came another. And
okay,
another.
Canada.
Stopped seeing the cans as dangerous. They weren't hiding anymore. They were shouting, "More! Throw us more!" Eventually, the Canadians took advantage of the situation. They armed their grenades and with a grin shouted, "Here, share these too." Then they threw all the grenades they had into the German trenches.
I thought they were going to give them like cans that look like bombs. I just feel like grenades just don't look like bombs to me. I mean, don't look like spam or whatever the meat was. It just doesn't. Okay, sure.
Together, expecting another tasty surprise, the German soldiers didn't even flinch. But by the time they realized those weren't cans of food, it was already too late for them.
They getting served meat by the enemy.
This man on the internet claimed he could run over water using a special technique.
Okay.
Covering a distance of more than 33 feet. So these guys set out to prove it and test whether it is actually possible. They first try running on the water while wearing water repellent shoes, but as expected, within a second, he splashes into the water because he isn't fast enough.
Okay.
Disgusting. And after they realize that pure speed alone won't work, they call in a professional sprinter.
That's not
that fast. So the Olympic champion takes the start and launches toward the water at amazing speed. Yet he still sinks almost immediately. And after failing over and over again, the team decides to look to nature for a solution. As a result, they find an animal that can actually run on water, which slaps its feet rapidly and uses its tail for balance to stay on the water
but they probably do that very fast.
Mimicking the animal.
Very fast though.
Shoes and a tail. Yet to test it, they bring in a gymnast whose weight and flexibility give them a better chance of success.
The weight, that makes sense.
But when she tries it, this happens.
Yes! Oh! Hold up, did they just gassed up a fail, bro? They reeled me in for a fail? That's hilarious. I have to give it to them.
This is an ultra realistic. Can't distinguish these from a real fake.
Okay, so I'm definitely the genius out of the three people.
Costing over $500 and
only 500.
I'm curious how much more realistic the government.
Like, look at the back of this head. Maybe if it had some hair. I think if it had some hair, then I could see it. But the back of his head looks hilarious because it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the body. Like his head shape doesn't fit the body. From a distance, though, I can see it. Like from a distance, you're not going to tell the difference. When I think the mouth starts moving and whatnot, that's when you're going to tell the difference.
He quickly pushes and jumps over it, and with a twisting motion of his hips, the bicycle...
If I had to hump, thrust, and bust to get around the city, I would be in the city more.
Starts moving. You see, this bike was designed for two people moving in opposite directions, but at high speed...
Yo, y'all ever want a hump buddy? To take this bike, you need a thrust buddy to get the thrusting down the street, like,
they
bro.
collided with each other, resulting in pregnancy.
Saw this at the gym. Fat. Fit. Whoa. That's so hard.
Pokemon that were created but didn't make it into the game. Back in the early 1990s, designer Atsuko Nishida created the original starter Pokemon based on the Japanese minigame Legend, envisioning a mystical turtle that grew a tail of seaweed and became more elegant as it aged. But when the games launched in 1996, something about the final evolution didn't make sense. Players immediately noticed that Blastoise looked nothing like its pre-evolutions, having abandoned Wartortle's fluffy ears and flowing tail for a giant industrial body equipped with metal cannons.
That is true.
For over 20 years, fans were left wondering why the design shifted shifted so drastically from a nature-based creature to a weapon of war. But in 2019, a massive leak of old computer files finally explained why this happened when preservationists uncovered a treasure trove of deleted development assets, including a file buried at Index 181 labeled Auric Camex, which translates directly to original Blastoise. But seeing the sprite hidden inside that file,
show me the sprite, man!
Knew about Generation 1. Instead of a tank, it revealed a creature fans call Toto.
I don't hate it. He just looked ugly. I hate how short he is. I think that's what's throwing me off. He needs to be taller and give him cannons. In fact, make him Blastoise, but with these designs, and I'll love it.
The bird spits a thin strand of saliva onto the rock. Then it adds another, building it up layer by layer. As the saliva dries, it forms a hard cup-shaped nest. Harvesters remove these nests from the cave walls and clean it until it's pure white. When the nest is cooked, it melts into a thick soup that people eat, believing that it helps their skin look.
Y'all eating some bird spit with me? For some bird throw up?
Healthier. And because each nest takes weeks for a single bird to build, they sell for thousands of dollars per pound, making these spit nests one of the most valuable foods in the world.
And the birds come back every couple of days. Like, where did this masterpiece I spent months making go? Yo, poor birds.
A man was sentenced to death and given two choices. Do you want to die by hanging or death by a snake bite? He paused, thought about it. The snake bite would be quicker.
I want to die by serving dick.
Less painful. So he said, just the snake. Let it bite me. The guards blindfolded him, then whispered, this is the world's most poisonous snake. He couldn't see it, but he could hear it.
It's venomous.
Slithering closer.
Poisonous is when like you eat something and you get poison. Venomous is if it bites you and it, you know what I'm saying? So it's the world's most venomous snake, not poison. It's because they're actually two very different things. Like the result is the same. It's like you get poison, you do get the sickness afterwards, but like the way you get it is like two different things. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Then suddenly, two sharp pricks on his arm. 10 seconds later, his body went stiff and he died. But here's the twist. There was no snake, just two harmless needles. Yet, when doctors performed an autopsy, they found real traces of venom in his blood, even though he was never bitten. How? Because his brain believed it. His mind was so convinced he was going to die that it triggered the same reactions as if he had been poisoned. He didn't die from the bite. He died from belief.
Wow, that's crazy. No.
Once you choose the dragon you like, you have to feed it until it's all grown up, then breed to get new ones, and discover more than 1,000 unique dragons in Dragon City. Play now and become a dragon.
What happens to you actually matters too, because like if the world's most venomous snake did bite you, like it's you thinking nothing is happening is not gonna save you. So it's like it's a little bit of both, like actually, you know, just saying.
This restaurant owner proposed a really unusual challenge for his staff, where they have to try their best to decorate the largest plate with only one swipe of a spoon. And so, the assistant manager was the first to give it a shot, but her result wasn't that impressive. Next, the co-owner came up and gave it a try, but it was still pretty messy. Then came the supervisor, and so far, hers turned out to be the most elegant design. But then when the bar captain thought he could outdo her, his attempt ended in total failure. And just when they thought nobody would come up with something original, the designer stepped up and created a unique masterpiece.
A unique masterpiece. The internet is hilarious, bro.
If a dog runs toward you aggressively, don't run. Running makes the dog chase you.
That does make him chase.
Its chase instinct and makes the situation worse.
Why is it straight to eating butt though? What's up with dogs and butts?
And stand your ground. Turn your body slightly to the side instead of facing the dog directly. This makes you look less threatening. Don't stare into the dog's eyes. Direct eye contact can feel like a challenge.
Ain't nobody doing this, I'm not gonna lie.
Slightly past the dog while keeping it in your view.
No one's doing this.
Low and still. Don't wave them. Don't try to...
Don't wave them! Come here, dog. Wait, dog. I'm not a threat. Dog, look.
Hit or scare the dog. If the dog gets close, use a calm, firm voice. Say simple commands like no or stay.
Okay, what if the dog is Spanish? What if it's an Irish dog? No, Spanish dog, no.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if you slipped in an infinity pool? You've probably seen those pools built high on skyscrapers where people swim right up to the edge. But if you look closely, a lot of questions about that. Something starts to feel a little off. The camera never really shows what's below the edge. And it can feel like one small mistake could send someone over. The truth is, infinity pools are designed to look endless. What you're seeing is really just an illusion. If someone did slip, they wouldn't fall off the building. They'd simply end up in a smaller pool just a few feet below the edge.
Thank you. Like, I've actually had this question for a minute, but I didn't care enough to look it up because that, like I said, I didn't care enough. But that does answer a lot.
This praying mantis has a parasite in its body. Watch to see what happens.
Okay, yeah, we're getting to the... Oh yeah, we're getting to the bottom of the internet, all right. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'm not looking. Ain't nobody trying to see that.
All lined up at the doors, while cheerleaders and mascots greeted them. The people were led.
You're telling me you're a wanted man and that feels so random.
And police officers. And in one afternoon, over 100 felons were arrested.
Yo, that's a crazy...
It doesn't have to be this way. I have no choice. Times have changed. Scaring isn't enough anymore. But kidnapping children?
So you see, that's not where I thought this was going at all.
Began to pour in from the vents in the elevator.
A little bit of basic math you'll be able to get out of this. All right, so you're gonna want to grab your one friend and remove his femurs. Stick them in your back pocket, then do the same to your other friend. You're then gonna want to put all 4 femurs together. A femur bone typically requires 900 pounds of force to break. Your average elevator door with interlocks engaged are about 1,000 to 4,000 pounds of force, so 4 femurs should be enough for you to pry the door open. Once you pry the door open, all the water will get out and you'll save your friends. Guys, this is why you follow this page for...
Okay. That's kind of risky if you don't have medical supplies, but I can see the vision. How does water leak into an elevator in the first place? Where's the elevator at?
The king would deliberately consume and smell tiny doses of poison every day, and the reason behind this was actually genius. You see, poisoning was the most common way to assassinate a king during medieval times.
Yeah.
So the king slowly trained his sense of smell.
Bro, I've read so many manga of people doing the same thing. Like, bro, like, I've read so many manga that I started to do it.
And taste to detect poison in food and wine. And when he lost a war, he tried to kill himself using poison, but it didn't work. His body was too resistant. So instead, he had to ask a soldier to end his life.
Bro went to back. He had to ask a soldier to end his life. That's the soldier story. The soldier just said that. That's cap. The soldier just made it up. He's like, guys, I swear he wanted me to do it. He couldn't kill himself. Like he just couldn't. Nah, soldier, we know who you are.
He cut open his palm and hid a tiny key inside the wound. Using soap to make foam, he pretended to have seizures so the guards would take him to the nurse.
Yuck.
The moment they were left alone, he pulled the key out of the wound, unlocked the handcuffs, and struck her.
Where did he get the key from?
Finally making his escape.
Where did he get the key from? I call cap. ChatGPT, hey, I'm here. What can I help you with? The body I buried suddenly at my... Okay, yeah, we're getting towards the bottom, right?
If your neck hurts, a chiropractor...
In HR, you need something more than doable. You need something powerful.
Uses
Like, what is going on?
Here we are. We're at the Spaniel show.
Oh, we're
getting ready.
We're at the bottom. We're about the bottom of shorts.
Get set up. We're gonna start grooming some dogs.
Oh.
Some baths. We've got Blaze here. We've got our puppies.
Look at these cutie pies.
They're going to meet our
Bet you they taste amazing. Salt, pepper, paprika.
What should you do if you step on a landmine? You see, most people think they should replace their weight with a rock or a heavy object. But in reality, that's actually the worst thing you could possibly do, because there are many types of landmines you could be standing on. For example, anti-tank mines only go off under heavy weight, so a person stepping off won't trigger them. But the bigger...
I would never dare play around and step on some landmines as a joke, like, hey guys, look at this. They don't go up. That's gonna be my luck. It's gonna explode and there's no body left, right? You're just gonna see flying parts of blood, the cleanest blood you'll ever see, the tastiest blood you ever see, because my insides are like that. Nobody's insides are better than mine, period. But still.
The problem is anti-personnel mines. Some models wait a few seconds after you step on them, then jump up and explode at waist height, sending shrapnel in every direction. So what should you do? Firstly, never dig around or try to replace your weight. You're gonna have to stay completely still and call the bomb squad, otherwise you're basically guaranteed dead.
What do you do if you step on a landmine? Call the people who defuse landmines.
If someone tries to rob you with a gun on the street, before you give up, make sure it's a real gun. First, look under the gun. If there's a small ring or a tiny...
Look under the gun. If someone tries to rob you with a gun, make sure it's real. Yeah, buddy, you're getting people killed. You don't have a chance if you follow in his steps.
Hole, it's either not a real gun, it's just decoration, or it's actually a lighter. The most important sign is the orange tip, which many
Sorry, how are you on his back like you moving like a horror character? How did you
thieves paint over to make the gun look real? But for him, none of those signs helped. So he asked the robber if the gun was real or not. That's when he realized the robber had no idea either and had to test the gun.
What is going on?
This right here may look like a cigarette, but it's not. Have you ever